Okay, we are live. We are live. Keeping it real, packing steel. It's your boy Del Boy. Hopefully you're all doing well. Just a quick little live stream, nothing special, nothing too long. I wouldn't have thought. Just a little bit of boxing talk, you know. Anyway, one second. Let me just get these bits in the background sorted. Okie dokie. We'll just talk whatever comes up. We'll talk about. Nothing too crazy. Yes, big up to Hashman Boxing in the chat. Hopefully you're doing well, bro. Long time no see. Hopefully you're keeping well. I see your boy Denzel Bentley put on a performance the other week. I was thoroughly impressed. I really enjoyed that performance. Really enjoyed that jab in particular. Was a lot more lucid. He just took more initiative in this rematch with Mark Heffron. I enjoyed what I saw from Denzel Bentley. Big up to Pork Talk in the chat. Hello to all of the hardcore boxing fans out there. How are you doing? I'm doing great, Pork Talk. I'm doing great. Got tomorrow off, so a long weekend. That's always nice. Going to get my haircut this weekend after like a while because I look like an absolute idiot right now. Moving out here like a complete, well, I don't know. Big up to Big Dan. BT and Frank went all out with the Dubois versus Joyce promotion, but with Yarde versus Arthur, hardly any promotion. Yeah, I've noticed that, Big Dan. But, you know, that was a massive fight for Frank, Dubois, Joyce. And apparently, according to Frank anyway, the final numbers are still being, waited on. But apparently Frank's saying that it's going to be the biggest boxing TV figures of the year. So if that's true, that's good news for Frank. Definitely an intriguing fight going in. And it certainly got some attention, to be fair. A lot of talk about it the next day as well, which is always good. So that was a good fight for Frank. And hopefully this Yarde fight also does well. I like the Yarde Arthur fight. I think it's a good fight right now for both guys. I think it's a good fight. Oh, for fuck's sake. What people fucking ringing me for at this time of night? Are you silly? Oh, my days. I'm not even going to answer it, I'm going to let it ring out. So apologies for that. People have started to call my home phone a lot more recently. I don't know why. But anyway. Yeah, also I think Glowaki's out of the Okole fight. Yeah, he is. Apparently Glowacki got COVID. So they are now searching for a replacement opponent. Somebody in the top 10 with a WBO, I presume. Who that's going to be, I mean, your guess is as good as mine, but I can't imagine it being anyone any good at this stage. Not long to go. Yeah, I can't see it being anyone good, unfortunately. Yes, big up to Unrivaled Boxing Talk, by the way. Looks like there's a new Bellew parody account on Twitter. Are you the owner of said account, Unrivaled? Are you the owner of said account? And he's donated with a super chat brought to you by Joe Joyce's Jab. Thank you, Joe Joyce. Did you win money on Joe Joyce Unrivaled? I know you won money on Bolotniks last night. But big up to Unrivaled for the support. And by the way, Unrivaled, that video should be recorded, I would say. It's probably going to be recorded, actually, either tomorrow night or Saturday night. Going to be uploaded, I would say, Sunday. So, yeah, that's a good topic, by the way. So thank you very much for that. Thank you very much, brother. And also, yeah, don't worry. No, it's fine. It's fine. I was going to say something else, but it's fine. John Lejeune in the chat. Big up to John. Answer my call. Big Dan. 1,000 fans at the Pulev Joshua fight. The fucking state of the guidelines to be there. Exactly, bro. It's not worth going, is it? I wouldn't go. Even if I had a fucking free ticket, I wouldn't go. JDav Hearn said it's going to be a top 10 WBO opponent for Okole. Yeah, I heard that as well. But, the WBO rankings can be kind of lukewarm, to say the least. So I'm not expecting much for Lawrence Okole's opponents. I'm not really expecting much. Oh, damn, you won 780 on fucking Joe Joyce. Jesus, fair play, bro. See, I'm gutted. I'm gutted. I was sure Bolotniks was going to win that fight and by knockout, but I bottled it at the last minute. There were some good odds on Bolotniks by knockout. Some good odds. Yo, I mentioned this on Twitter. I think Bolotniks would be a very good test for Buatsi at this point. Bolotniks is coming off some really good form. He's beaten 4 good fighters in a row. Ekimov, Stephen Ward, Hosea Burton, Sergey Michel. He's on a good run right now, and he's highly rated on BoxRec certainly. So, yeah, Bolotniks would be a good opponent for Joshua Buatsi. He's tough, he's durable, he can punch a bit. He's gonna take Buatsi rounds. It's a good fight. It's a very good fight. See, I wouldn't even mind Bolotniks versus Yarde for winner. I wouldn't have any problem with Bolotniks fighting either one of those guys right now. No problem at all. Joe Joyce paid for Bump of K's Xbox. Yeah, Joe Joyce made a lot of people money. He did. See, I was too scared to bet. I bottled it. I know the odds were so good. I'm a fucking idiot, but I bottled it. Tommy McCarthy. Hang on. Oh, fuck me. Pork Talk says Tommy McCarthy's been offered the Akole fight. Tommy McCarthy would get squashed. I'll be honest. He'll get squashed. Yeah, Hashman, I think Buatsi would get to Bolotniks in the end, but he would have to work for it, and there would be stuff there'd be stuff coming back for Buatsi, and that's what he needs right now. You know, the tougher guys who are going to fight back, who actually have ambition. I think that sort of fight's ideal for Buatsi right now, in my opinion. I think it's ideal. And I'll tell you what, if Bolotniks had like slightly quicker feet and was a little bit better at cutting the ring off, he'd be so much more of a handful than he is right now. Because the problem with Bolotniks is his feet are kind of slow. And that's what kind of lets him down. He's got a good chin, a good high guard, a decent work rate, decent power, nice ability up close. But it's his foot speed that kind of lets him down. That's going to see him come unstuck. But he'll be a good test for Buatsi, in my opinion. Yes, big up to Carlos Mendoza. Nice of you to drop by on this fine, rainy Thursday evening in the UK. It's absolutely horrible here, man. Akole and Huey Fury on the same card, throwing up emojis. Yeah, listen, man, I'm in the minority, but I was looking forward to Akole versus Glowacki. I know Mark gave me some stick for that one, but I was looking forward to it. But yeah, now he's not fighting Glowacki. I'm not interested in Akole. Not interested at all. We tried to get Akole up to heavyweight to fight Cash Ali in a 6-rounder up at Manatop Sheffield. Yeah, it's mad, isn't it, bro? 11-1 for rounds 7 to 12. They are crazy odds. Crazy odds. No way, J-Dav. It's never going to be Evgeny Tishchenko. Never, 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 never. It'll be somebody we've not really seen too much of. That's what I'm presuming. That's what I'm assuming, anyway. I agree, Joe DC. Bolotniks is a tough man, and he seems like a character as well. If you saw his post-fight interviews, the guy seems like a pretty chill guy, you know. So I'm rooting for him. He's made a fan out of me. I like Bolotniks. I like him. He's a trier, and you got to love a trier, and I mean a real trier, not like a Dave Allen who half-asses it and gets sympathy votes. No. Bolotniks is a guy who takes it serious, who comes to fight, and will leave it all in the ring. Regardless of your ability, if you do that, I'm going to support you. That's how I feel about it anyway. I like Bolotniks. See, I got the Bolotniks fight right. I thought he was going to beat Michelle, but I got the main event wrong. I felt Ryan Walsh was going to beat Jazza Dickens, so I was 1-for-1 on the MTK card. Oh shit, Unrivaled bet 10-12 and got 25-1. Jesus Christ. That are nice odds, bro. Nice odds, man. Yeah, that's a good fight. Hashman. Bolotniks versus Kalic. Yeah. Do you know what? Kalic is very active, good on the outside, but I don't think he's got the power to keep Bolotniks off. That'll be an interesting fight. Joe DC, surely MTK and Bolotniks are going to try and build up now and not just feed him out. Yeah, you would assume so, but the guy's going to be I would imagine he's going to be highly ranked after these wins. Don't be surprised, yeah. Don't be surprised if you see Bolotniks fight Dmitry Bivol as Bivol's comeback opponents. Don't be surprised. I could see that happening as like a tune-up fight, a comeback fight, because Bivol's been out of a ring for quite some time, and he'll need a guy who can take him a few rounds to shake off a ring rust. Don't be surprised if that's Bolotniks. Yeah, I saw that, Big Dan. John Ryder and Ali Akhmedov on the same card, but not against each other. Ryder versus Mike Guy. What a piss take. Yeah, I feel for John Ryder. That's the best they can do for John Ryder after talk of Lemieux, Fedor Chudinov, and they come up with Mike Guy. I mean, come on, man. I feel for John Ryder. I feel for him. I like John a lot. I think John's a really, really good fighter. Really improved. Nice guy. He's a good fighter, man. He deserves a lot better, in my opinion. Yes, sir, Nathan. Me too, man. I'm on the Bolotniks fan club right now. Big up to Crazy D3 all the time, man. Liam Normand, he put £1.50 on Joyce to win in the 10th, which I put more. Yeah, I mean, we've all done that though in certain fights where we put like a cheeky fiver or whatever it is on a certain result, on a certain outcome, and it comes true, and you wish you fucking just went all in on it, but you know that's betting for you. You don't want to get into that mindset with betting because in the long run you're going to end up losing. Exactly, you've summed it up perfectly. Bolotniks is a trier, Allen is a chancer. 100%, bro. You've just said it perfectly. 100%. That's the perfect way to put it. Perfect way. Yeah, Michelle was tough as hell, just outgunned. Yeah, he showed a lot of heart. He showed a lot of heart. You know, he was taking some brutal body shots, nearly keeled over a few times, but he kept on his feet and he tried his best. He was firing back at times, but it just wasn't enough. But he tried his best, man, and you got to respect that. Yeah, I agree, Hashman. I'm liking what Frank is doing right now. 3 back-to-back 50-50 main events. 100%, bro. I mean, this fight this weekend with with Yarde and Arthur, it's a good fight. The card has actually fallen a bit, though, because Willie Hutchinson was supposed to fight Lennox Allen for the British title. That would have been a good fight as well, but that fight's fallen through, unfortunately. And but the main event's really good. Frank's been doing some good stuff recently, to be fair to him. Frank's been doing some good stuff. I believe you, bro, man. I believe you, man. Just fair play, bro. All I'm saying is, mate, see, my betting confidence recently has gone downhill. I think it was 2018. I had such a good year. I cleared up in 2018. 2019, though, was a shocker for me. And 2020, with my predictions on this channel, they haven't always been accurate. So my betting confidence right now is shot like Kell Brook's fucking orbital bone. But yeah, sometimes you go on a hot streak, though, don't you? You get on a real good streak with betting. And sometimes you go on these dodgy runs. Oh, big up Unrivaled again, by the way. Sent you the slip, sponsored by Joe Joyce's jab. Unrivaled's fucking flexing right now. Jesus Christ. You're right, bro. And big up to Unrivaled again. Dickens was sharp, had him winning well. Good tournament from him. He was impressive against Lee Wood as well. Yeah, he beat Lee Wood up, boxed really well. Jazza Dickens has always had talent, never really put it together. But now, obviously, he's highly rated in the WBO, so he could actually get a shot at Emmanuel Navarrete. That could happen. He's put some good wins together. Crazy D3, we still don't know. Unfortunately, nobody knows. Is he injured? What's going on? I mean, your guess is as good as mine, mate. No clue, but I want to see him back ASAP. Yeah, Frank's been delivering some good non-pay-per-views recently. Heffron versus Bentley, Dubois versus Joyce, and now Yarde versus Arthur. This should be the standard. I agree, bro. On regular TV, Sky BT, these are the sort of fights I like. You know, it doesn't have to be a world title fight every time. Just a competitive fight which has some intrigue. That's all I want. Could be a domestic title fight, whatever. That's all I want. You know, Martin Murray versus Billy Joe. Yeah, it's a world title fight, but it's not competitive. Did you see Martin Murray at the weigh-in? He looked terrible. He looked gaunt. He looked old. He looked haggard. He looks done. That's going to be a stink fest, in all honesty. It's going to be an absolute stink fest. And that card as a whole, I mean, there's not really much to look forward to. I like James Tennyson. He's a fun fighter. But the guy he's fighting, Josh O'Reilly, I mean, that's a final eliminator. How has Josh O'Reilly got himself that position? Who's he beat? I mean, yeah, it's not a great card, that, unfortunately. Yeah, Jazzer's doing okay, you know. He's a decent boxer. Just never really put it all together. Like, he was doing really well all those years ago against Kid Galahad in I think that's 2013. But in that fight, he was actually winning that fight until he got stopped. He's got ability, Jazza Dickens, just never really been able to put it together. Yeah, Frank's got a decent domestic stable. He's putting some good fights together. No doubt, no doubt. Harlem Eubank looks decent, in my opinion, has decent boxing ability. I'll tell you what, Nathan, I was impressed with his performance. Daniel Ebenike is a real awkward type of guy. I've seen him fight a couple of times on MTK shows. He's kind of rough and rugged, gets low, gets in your face. He's hard to look good against. And I felt Harlem Eubank boxed really well. That's the best I've seen Harlem box. I saw the guy early in his pro career, and he looked terrible then. He had a fight in Monaco where he got dropped. And in my opinion, he lost that fight against a journeyman. And I wrote him off then, but, you know, he's come back strong and he looks better now. He's finding his style, and he's boxing well. As much as I like Bolotnik, he's certainly not beating Bivol. I agree, bro. You're joking, bro. He's joking. He's joking. John, you're joking. You're joking. A big up to Unrivaled again, by the way. Much appreciated, bro. Keeps the lights on. Keeps the lights on the channel. Yeah, Hashman Boxing. Should have listened to Unrivaled's cash out earlier. I lost a bit of money, but still made a profit overall. That's the main thing, bro. As long as you leave with more money that you went in with, that's a good thing, man. Pork Talk. Frank's undercards need strengthening, which will come when these prospects come through a bit more. Yeah, I agree. Guys like Dennis McCann, for example, once he has a few more fights, they're going to let loose on that guy, because he's ready now to take some decent fights, like an English title, then maybe a Commonwealth, then a British. I could see by 10 fights Dennis McCann fighting for a British title. Uncle Del, I've been a fan since before the hype, back when Polo used to be Lacoste. Big up to Levi. Straight out of NYC. Hopefully you're keeping well, bro, over there. Hopefully it's not too crazy or anything like that. Beautiful. We got a can of Stella going here. A nice can of Stella. Tomorrow we've got off, no work tomorrow, so it's all good, man. Yeah, I like the look of Hamza Shiraz. He's a massive guy for 154, though. He's really big. He's got solid fundamentals. I think he beats Troy Williamson, Nathan. See, that's another fight which Frank should look to put on. That would be a good fight. Good domestic fight. That'd be a very good fight. Bet big on Spence on points this weekend. Yeah, I don't think he's going to knock out Danny. Danny's got a granite chin. If he stops Danny, it's going to be to the body, not to the head. And I think Errol Spence naturally is going to be more cautious this weekend due to the time out of the ring and what's happened. I don't think he's going to take many risks. And I think he's going to box behind that jab. Errol Spence's jab is excellent, by the way. He's a really good fighter, man. Hopefully he's back to 100%. But I expect him to outbox Danny. Jesus, Hashman, that is very good. That's extremely good, bro. That's extremely good. Fair play, brother. Fair play. Levi Khan, I'm still spending the free money from Bakole over Whack as an underdog. Yes, Levi. Yeah, I remember that. I had money on that as well. Couldn't believe it when I saw. I thought that was one of those moments where the bookies like misprinted the odds. But no, he was the underdog going into that fight for a long time. Crazy. Crazy. Yeah, I think Denzel Bentley would beat Felix Cash. I'm not going to lie. Denzel, to me, he strikes me as a more versatile fighter. He's got a few more strings to his bow, whereas Felix Cash kind of fights the same way over and over. I've seen Denzel box. I've seen him be awkward. I've seen him punch. I've seen him fight. Denzel seems quite versatile to my eye anyway. I would pick Denzel to win that fight. Be a good fight, though. Be a good fight. Spence points Billy Joe KO Acker. See, I don't think Billy Joe's going to knock out Martin Murray. As shot as Martin Murray likely is, I don't think Billy Joe's going to knock him out. I think he'll shut him out though, but not knock him out. Shout out to Joe Joyce for making everyone's Christmas a bit better. He's not made my Christmas better because I fucking bottled it. Yeah, Bentley versus Cash or Adofia. Yeah, Adofia's from my local area, so that'd be a good fight for me anyway. I'd get behind that. Yeah, I agree, Hashman. He'll do good for a few rounds, but he'll get smashed up. He'll get walked down and beat up. Dubois, not as good a prospect as Frank fought, which is hilarious objectively. Yeah, Frank was pissed after that fight, wasn't it? You could tell he was fuming in that post-fight interview. He looked as sick as a parrot, Frank Warren. Bless him. It's hilarious, man. Yeah, Sam Jones was right. He was right, Levi. He was saying that Dubois should have had a couple of like mid-level fights, and he was right in hindsight. He was right. I don't think you'll get that fight, though, Joe. I don't think you'll get that fight. I think Bivol's style presents too much of a risk for Canelo, and the reward there doesn't really add up. Bivol's not a big enough name. Like, at least Callum Smith has like the UK following behind him. Dimitri Bivol, yeah, it's gonna excite us, but the casuals probably not so much. But I hope you're right, though. We got a hater in the chat. At 168, you're talking about Bivol. Yeah, you're right. He said he'll drop down for Canelo. He could easily make 168. He's a small light heavyweight. Why do you want to see my face so much anyway? It's a bit creepy, mate. It's a bit creepy. But each to their own. If you swing that way, then who am I to judge? It's 2020 after all, where men can be women and women can be men. Who am I to judge? Yeah, bro, I've not fucking I was in the prediction league for a couple of weeks, then I forgot. then after that, I after forgetting 1 week, there's no point, basically. Yeah, I agree, bro. Billy Joe easy decision. Yeah, totally agree. Saunders will stop Murray. I can't see it, bro. I can't see it, man. He doesn't hit hard enough. He's not active enough offensively to knock out Martin Murray. Plus, Martin's got a great chin anyway. He's got a great chin. Joe Joyce versus Joe Parker. Who would you pick? Be a great eliminator fight. That's a very good fight. Pool 1, 2, 3. Joe Parker, naturally, you would say maybe he's the better boxer, but Joe Joyce is the more natural fighter. He's got a better work rate. And I think he might just out-hustle Joe Parker, to be honest. I think I would go Joe Joyce on points. For Battle of the Joes, I'll take Joe Joyce, though. Interesting. Hashman Boxing. Marcus Morrison and Brad Pauls both ducked Denzel Bentley in July. Now they want to crack up the British title. It always works that way, Hashman. It always works that way. At one point, Denzel really had nothing to offer, apart from a dangerous style. But now there's a bit of reward there now. You know, there's a bit of reward there. Tennyson is good to watch. He has overwhelmed guys at domestic level. Indeed, he's a big puncher at domestic level, certainly. He's one of those guys who's probably too good for domestic level right now, but chucking that guy in at world level, he's going to get knocked out again. He's going to get stopped. He should really fight for a European title next, not a world title eliminator. Francisco Patera. That'd be a good fight for James Tennyson right now. But, I don't blame him for going the route he's going down. Crazy D3, calling it now. Billy Joe Saunders versus Zach Parker, not Canelo versus Jacobs or Andrade, Ryder, etc. It's so obvious as Zach's on the undercard. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised, bro. Zach Parker's is mandatory, I believe. Blue Collar Sports TV. Can I just get a shout out for you guys to get yourselves up to Manor Top next Friday for our Igloo show? Tommy Frank versus some Mexican, £400 per car. Mick Whale doing some burgers. Fuck's sake. He's okay, Nathan. Zach Parker's okay. Solid domestic level guy. But that's all I can really say. He's okay. Solid, decent. Domestic level. Yeah, I saw that, Big Dan. I like Lerone Richards as well. I think he's a good stylist in there, a nice boxer, nice sharp jab, a decent defense. I would expect him to get a decent fight next year. Maybe someone like Rocky Fielding. I don't begrudge him that fight, to be honest, because he's not fought in a while. So I don't really begrudge him that fight. But yeah, after that fight, we need to see something substantial, something decent. Maybe Rocky Fielding. Joe DC, he's on the Fosters. See, we're on the old Stellas, mate. We're on the Stellas. Going to get fucking aggro tonight. Going to get aggro. Yeah, I think that's his level, Hashman. At best, that's his level. European level. Anyone else think Joe Joyce just seems like a proper good guy? Yeah, he does, man. He seems like a down-to-earth, genuine gentleman, man. Seems like a good dude. Good dude. John Lejeune, he said he bet $5,000 on a Danny Garcia KO, a Yarde retirement, and a Martin Murray 4th round knockout. I hope you don't steer me the wrong way again. None of those are my picks, man. I've got fucking Spence on points, Yarde by knockout, and Billy Joe by points. Trolling me, man. Christ. Yeah, I agree, Nathan. A solid domestic fighter, but I can't see him going beyond that. Mind you, having said that, though, I said that about John Ryder years ago, and look now, he's really improved. So there's always scope for a guy to get better. I just don't see it with Zach. I don't see it. Yeah, Hamza Shiraz and Troy Williamson was scheduled, but Williamson got injured. Yeah, that's a shame. That would have been a good fight, bro. Hopefully they can reschedule it. There's no reason why they can't. I like the fight, though. I like the fight a lot, man. Yeah, I think there's a chance of it happening with what's going on in the WBO situation. If Joshua vacates, then theoretically those two guys are going to be the next in line to fight for it. The only real problem would be is the promotional issues. Usyk being with Hearn and Joe Joyce being with Warren. May go to purse bids, who knows? That's the only real issue there. But yeah, that fight could happen. It's realistic in terms of like the politics anyway. I'd be more than interested to see that fight. Jack Catterall has been managed a bit poorly as well. Taylor Ramirez winner, but hasn't had the fringe world level fights. He has some good domestic wins. Yeah. So Jack Catterall, he did really well at domestic level. He beat Tyrone Nurse. He beat Tyrone McKenna. He beat O'Hara Davis. He beat Joe Hughes as well. He beat everybody at domestic level, but there hasn't been that European step up. The European Championship or a fringe world level guy like you were saying. You're totally right, bro. You're totally right. Even someone like Pablo Cesar Cano for Jack Catterall would be ideal right now before he fights for a world title. Just somebody who's fought at that sort of level, but he's not fought anybody like that. I think Jack Catterall's decent, but yeah, he always seems to fight in one gear. Jack Catterall. I always get the sense that this guy could be one of those guys in boxing where he looks great in the gym, but he never really replicates it in the ring. I see ability there with Jack Catterall. Some of the things he does, some of his timing, he's pretty decent, but yeah, he's never really wowed us, has he, Jack Catterall? You never really sit there and think, wow, I love watching Jack Catterall fight. You never really say that, do you? Christ, 11 million, Jesus Christ. Yeah, Billy Joe, man. Billy Joe is he's just treading water right now, Levi. Treading water. Again, Danny Jacobs. I mean, fuck me. I mean, he's just keeping Billy Joe safe for Canelo, basically. That's what's happening, just in case Canelo calls. He did the same for Callum Smith. He kept him wrapped in cotton wool until Canelo came calling, and now he's going to do the same with Billy Joe. That's what he's been doing. That's all. That's all that really matters. I know Danny Jacobs looked terrible in his last fight, but I actually hope Danny signs with the PBC. Hopefully, we could see Danny versus Caleb Plant, for example, because Danny's not going to fight Billy Joe. He's not going to fight Callum. It's not going to happen at Matchroom. A bump of cake. Canelo versus Smith will look so good on Canelo CV because of a height difference. It will do, yeah. It definitely will do. And listen, Callum's not a bad fighter. He's not a bad fighter, but yeah, I don't see it happening. If Dubois went blind in his eye, would you feel bad considering his comments towards Joe Joyce's mother? Do you know what? Listen, what the injury which happened was a bit of poetic justice, but I wouldn't really wish that on anybody, and I would feel bad for him. I just think Dubois. I don't mean this, and I guess it sounds horrible, but he seems like a man child. I think he was put up to act a certain way because that's not really in his character, from what I see. I just think people got in his ear to try and sell the fight, and he came out with that. Probably didn't mean it, and he looked like an idiot. But yeah, I wouldn't. I would feel for him if that happened. I'd feel for him. I like Dubois. I think he's a nice guy. He seems pretty genuine. And I'll be honest with you, maybe I'm fucking soft, but I kind of felt for him this weekend after all of the fallout to that fight. I kind of felt for him, but there we go. Oh, for fuck's sake, this fucking phone again, bruv. I'm gonna leave it again. We're fucking. I know who it is as well. I know who it is. Eddie's failed to maximise a few fighters, not just Billy Joe, but Callum and Liam Smith. Brook to a large degree, Gassiev, Parker, Hrgovic. Yeah, well, Callum's got the Canelo fight, so right now we can't really say that. But you're right in regards to the other ones, especially Liam Smith. I mean, that guy's done absolutely nothing with Eddie Hearn. Absolutely nothing. I mean, I like the idea of a Jesse Vargas fight. I think that'd be fun, but just get it done. Stop talking about it. Get it done. Yeah, I agree, bro. I agree. Yeah, he does, Joe DC. I noticed that as well. He looked ancient at the weigh-in, like really, really drawn out, drained. He looked terrible. He looked like a skeleton. I agree, Hashman. Unless he just gets pulled out like Bump of K was saying above. Unless he gets pulled out, I can't see Billy Joe stopping him. I can't see it. Yes, big up to Buddy Aces, man. Long time no see, bro. Hopefully you're doing well. Long time no see, man. Billy Joe's probably going to labour to a decision. Yeah, he'll probably look fucking terrible. He'll probably look terrible. Hashman won't bet on tennis and his body looks so fragile. Yeah, he might be a bit better, though, now he's at lightweight, because he cut a lot of weight to make 130. He was a massive super featherweight. Danny Garcia may honestly retire after this fight. His dad, Crazy Angel, is getting old, and Danny said he'll never fight without Angel. Yeah, I mean, if he loses to Errol Spence, is there really much out there for him? I mean, he would have fought Keith Thurman, he's fought Sean Porter, and he would have fought Errol Spence. If he loses this fight, what really is out there for him? I wouldn't be surprised if he retires. Obviously, if he wins, he's going to carry on, but if he loses, I wouldn't be surprised if he retires. Having said that, though, he said he would be willing to move up to 154. He'll get fucking smashed at 154, but we'll see what happens with Danny. We'll see what happens. I agree, Bump of K. Billy Joe needs to look good here, and he will. Not sure about that. This will be a painful, humiliating night for Murray. Jamie Moore is a top man and will save his fighter. Interesting point. I'm not sure he's going to look good, though. I just can't put my faith in Billy Joe right now. I'm not convinced that he belongs at 168. I think he's a lazy middleweight. To me, his feet don't look as quick at 168. His hands don't look as quick. He looks lethargic to me. So we'll see. Maybe he's grown into the weight and it's more natural now. So maybe he's going to look better, but I'm not holding out any real hope for a good Billy Joe performance. I fully expect him to win, don't get me wrong, but I don't think he's going to look great doing it. Parker versus Joyce maybe could fight it out for the right to face Usyk if he decides to wait until after the first AJ Fury fight and then the WBO does go vacant. Yeah, that's true. That's true. Again, that's a good fight though. If that happened, I'd not be complaining. Yeah, if Martin Murray beats Billy Joe Saunders, then Christ. If Martin Murray beats Billy Joe Saunders, I might do a fucking face reveal, to be honest. Seriously. It's not going to happen, bro. I actually plan on doing some face reveal videos next year. I might start doing them. Yeah, I agree. I agree, JB Lowe. He's certainly a different proposition than Daniel Dubois stylistically. Faster hands, better feet, better boxer in general. Yeah, he would give Joyce some problems. Oh, is that confirmed, Hashman? If so, I'm glad. That's a good fight. Andrade versus Liam Williams, February 2021 in Providence. Brilliant news. We need to see Andrade in a decent fight. I'm not saying Liam Williams is going to beat him, but he's going to give him a fight, and that's what Andrade needs right now. I'm backing Andrade to beat him. I think Andrade is going to have too much, but it's a good little fight for him. Chris Lovejoy back working as a doorman. Don King ruined his life, man. Look at John. He's going to Unrivaled for betting news. Will Stokes. Damn, this is a hard one. Just found out I failed my. Sorry. Just found out I failed one of my uni courses. Pretty terrible day here, mate. Yeah, at the end of the day, man, it's easy. I know it's easy to say, but it doesn't really define you. There's always. I'm sure there's options to reset, obviously, but even if you don't, there's always other paths out there, other alternatives to get into employment and get to a good state, a good position in the workforce. I never left. I've not got any degrees or anything of the sort, and I've done okay, and so have plenty of people, man. It's just one of those setbacks in life. You've got to brush yourself down and I guess learn from it. But you'll get through it, man. There's no doubt about it. You'll get through it. You'll probably look back in 5 years' time and think to yourself that really wasn't as big an issue as I thought it was, and you'll kind of laugh at it. But now you'll be fine, bro, man. You'll be fine. Yeah, I agree, Hashman. Lerone doesn't go through the gears at all. Needs to switch it on if he's got a chance to compete with the world level fighters. I agree. I like his style though. What is aggro? Is that British slang? Yeah, no. So aggro is like being aggressive, isn't it? Yeah, it's being aggressive kind of thing. Yeah, Sam Jones, he's grown on me, Levi. He's grown on me. He's kind of funny, man. He's kind of a character. And listen, he does a lot for his fighters. He gets his fighters' names out there. There's no doubt about it. Yeah, is Willie Hutchinson still fighting AA? Because I know the fight got pulled. The fight is off. I know against Lennox Clark. Oh, so Hutchinson's got the flu. Okay, so he's not on the card. Okay. AA Boxing and Blunts. Usyk is going to leave Eddie, and maybe even before he gets his title shot, he's pissed off. Don't blame him, man. Don't blame him. Unrivaled Boxing Talk. If Saunders gets a stoppage, it's going to be late on. So if I was you, I'd want good odds. Group round Saunders 10-12. Otherwise, just double Tennyson by KO and Saunders on points. Yeah, that's a good shout. Yes, big up to Matthew Martinez. Chula Vista, San Diego, Cali. Big up, man. Big up from Cali. I wish I was out there right now, bro. I'll tell you that much. I wish I was out there right now. It's horrible out here in the UK, as you would expect. Pissing down a rain. Horrible. Absolutely horrible. Yeah, MB. Yeah, I agree. And the problem is, when you keep on having runouts and tune-up fights, you can develop bad habits, you can get stale, and when eventually you do step up, you fail to deliver. I think that's what's going to happen to Jack Catterall. He's not had a hard fight in a long time, and that's bad for your development as a fighter. So, yeah. Yeah, exactly, Joe. I see certain things where Jack Catterall, he does a certain move or he lands a certain counter punch, and you think to yourself, that's quality, but he doesn't do it enough, doesn't do it frequent enough, and a lot of the time he just coasts in there. Do you know what I mean? He's not consistent enough, in my opinion. Exactly, one-paced is how I would describe it. One-paced. Yeah, Nathan. Catterall versus Yigit or Kerrol Relic. Yep, good options. See, my shout was Pablo Cesar Cano. Yeah, J Dav. I totally agree with Carl Frampton, and obviously Carl sees him in the gym every day. So I totally agree with Carl. I see a good fighter in Jack Catterall. I do. I think he's better than he looks, kind of thing. Do you know what I mean? I think he's better than he looks. Big up to John, man. One of Dell's fat lasses is calling the game. Christ, where did this come from, man? That I like fat birds. It's not a thing, man. It's not a thing. Oh, it's been cancelled. See, I never even knew it got cancelled, Hashman. I'm still not sold on Ulusanov, to be honest. I think Ndongo right now he's a knockout for hire. He's just going to go down for prospects. I'm not sold on Ulusanov yet. I'm not sold on him. We'll see though. He's certainly talented, but I'm not sold on him. So yeah, Ulusanov beating Ndongo Assad. Damn, Daniel Ulusanov versus your Dennis Ugas. I'm picking Ulusanov. Jesus Christ, Hashman. I'm picking Ugas, bro, all day. I'm picking Ugas. I've not seen enough from Daniel. I've not seen enough. Yeah, he really Assad, he really he wasn't hanging around, put it that way. He wasn't hanging around. Yeah, D, totally agree, bro. Like Martin Murray, he retired in 2019? He came back, had a couple of tune-up fights, and here we are in 2020. He's fighting for a world title. Bear in mind, he lost to Hassan and Dam in 2018. A past it, Hassan and Dam. So that goes to show where Martin Murray is at right now. He's shot to bits, bro. Shot to bits. Totally agree. Awful fight. Ndongo's chin is worse than Khan's by a long shot. Yeah, Ndongo's not got a great chin, man. Reveal your face like catchphrase a bit every pod. Yeah, I think I will next year at some point. I do plan on actually making live videos kind of thing on my phone and having and doing some different things. Why not? We need to get the female viewing figures up. Oh shit. Yo, big up to Ronald, man, in the chat. $2 super chat. He says Danny Garcia can win. Listen, he can win. He can definitely win. I mean, he's got relatively good power. He's got good timing. But again, Danny's going to need to show us something that he's not shown us to win this fight, in my opinion. He needs to be a lot more assertive. Danny Garcia is a really good counterpuncher, but the problem is Danny Garcia is one of those counterpunchers where he waits on you to make a mistake. He doesn't create his own traps for his opponents to fall into, and that's one of his problems. He's not active enough. He doesn't create traps, and he needs to do that in this fight. I think if you punch with Errol Spence Jr., he's certainly hittable. Danny Garcia needs to get involved in exchanges with. Danny Garcia needs to get involved in exchanges with Errol Spence Jr. and time him in between the punches. If he can do that, I think he can have success. But Danny Garcia, man, he's never put his foot on the gas. He's never. When you watch Danny Garcia fight, like in the Keith Thurman fight or the Sean Porter fight, I've always got the feeling that he could have given a little bit more. Do you know what I mean? So Danny Garcia, can he win the fight? Yes, but he needs to show us a lot more. I'm picking Errol Spence Jr. on points, man. Errol Spence on points. But big up to Ronald Finkley, man, for the super chat. Much appreciated. Nice to see you here as well, bro. Nice to see you here. Big up to Michael Van Gerwen, fresh from playing darts. Will Garcia get the credit if he wins? Well, listen, we know what's going to happen. If Danny Garcia wins, questions will be asked in regards to Errol Spence Jr., what state he was in. And ultimately, we can be the judges of that. We'll see how he looks in the ring. If this guy can barely fucking put one foot in front of each other, then he's obviously shot, isn't he? But we'll see how he looks. If Errol Spence is looking good, then he gets knocked out, then Danny deserves credit. But if Errol looks terrible, then we've got to concede that the accident, the car crash, had a part to play. But big up to Michael Van Gerwen for the super chat. Much appreciated, bro. And big up to Ronald Finkley as well, man. Big up, sir. Big up, big up, big up. Yes, big up to Duck as well. I see Duck in the chat. Kugan Cassius or Rob Tebbert. I would say Rob Tebbert. He's certainly more knowledgeable on boxing. He strikes me as a real boxing fan who just happens to be an interviewer, where Kugan, I think he just kind of found boxing by mistake almost. I'm not really convinced he's a massive boxing fan like that. He's like a casual fan. Yes, it's funny you mentioned that name, Hashman Boxing. It's funny you mentioned that name, but I agree. Elvis Rodriguez, he's a very fun prospect. Very fun prospect. Nah, come on, man. I don't want to see Kell Brook fight again, mate. I don't want to see Kell Brook fight again, Levi. Good shout, Duck. That's a good shout. Jack Catterall versus Maurice Hooker. I'd watch it. That's a good fight. Matthew Martinez. Martin is going to do a lot better than you think. Martin has such a picture-perfect 1-2. Look up the Martinez fight. I agree, Matthew. But to me, that version of Martin Murray is long gone. 38 years old. He's had a few hard fights now. You know, wear and tear. I just think the guy's past his best, to be honest. I don't think it's fair anymore. I don't think he's got what it takes anymore, to be honest. But I hope you're right. Listen, nothing would please me more if Martin Murray won that fight. I can't stand Billy Joe Saunders. I can't stand him. So I'd like you to be right. I'd like you to be right. Yo, is that fight official, Duck? Batayev versus Yordenis Ugas. Is that official? But if it happens, Batayev is a pretty good body puncher. He's got relatively good power. Ugas does kind of tire down the stretch. But Ugas is a better technical boxer from the outside. I think I would go with Ugas in a close win. Close points decision for Ugas, I would say. It's a good fight, though. It's no worry, Will, man. It's one of those things, isn't it? Like life, we've all had things to overcome in life where we felt we could have done better in certain scenarios and whatnot. But at the end of the day, it's all a learning curve. It's all, you know, a setback is there for a bounce back, I guess. We can always improve on our mistakes and make it better. But yeah, man, it's one of those things, man. It's one of those things. But on the bright side, I predicted Joyce by KO rounds 8 to 10. And although I wasn't confident enough on the round, I put 30 down on Joyce to win by KO TKO and got 150 back. Good stuff, man. Good stuff, bro. Damn. See, Unrivaled thinks Butayev beats Ugas, and so does Hashman. Damn. See, I'm surprised by that. I'm surprised. I've got Ugas on points. Yes, big up to Johnny Boy. Yeah, Murray beat Sergio and got robbed in Argentina. Totally agree, bro. And by the way, yeah, that was one of the ballsiest away trips for a fighter in that whole decade. An Englishman going to Argentina is risky as fuck because of the war back in the 80s, the Falklands War. Like, they hate us over there, and there's a lot of resentment from us to them as well. The fact that Martin Murray went to Argentina to fight Sergio Martinez and got fucking robbed was just a fucking that was a tragedy in my opinion. He got robbed, man, badly. But you're right, bro. And also the Felix Sturm fight. The Felix Sturm fight was actually close, though, to be honest. I don't think a draw was a robbery. But yeah, he certainly beat Sergio. Duck, he would pick Butayev by stoppage as well. Yeah, that's right. Jonathan Morrison, Jake Paul by savage straight right hand knockout. Jake Paul can fight, a little bit. I tell you what, Jake Paul can fight a little bit. Listen, obviously not compared to a decent boxer, but compared to the man in the street, Jake Paul would sleep people. Trust me, he would sleep 8 out of 10, 9 out of 10 people on the street. 100%, he would. He can fight a bit. Yeah, I saw that MB, yeah. Johnny Boy's not having it. I don't think, genuinely, in all seriousness, I don't think Clarissa Shields would beat Jake Paul. I think Jake Paul is a cruiserweight. He's a big boy. He's a big fucking lump. He's a big lump. He's a big old fucking lump. Yeah, I saw that, Big Dan. Yeah, Tyson Jones did 1.2 million pay-per-view buys. Apparently, the pay-per-view was a bit cheaper at $50, but that's still fucking impressive. That's very impressive. Yeah, that's what I'm saying, Jonathan. I totally agree. Like, Danny's one of those guys where he relies on you to make the mistake. Like, look at the Amir Khan fight, for example, where, like, for some reason, Amir Khan throws an uppercut from the outside, and Danny just times him with a left hook and drops him. Yeah, he waits on you to make mistakes. And in this fight, he needs to be a lot more assertive. He needs to punch with Errol Spence. He needs to be more aggressive. He needs to work that body. And the output needs to be a lot better. Because Errol's got a good work rate. He works off a jab exceptionally well. Danny needs to change it up in this fight. Damn, you've got 1K on Errol Spence on points. I think you're okay, bro. I think you're okay. Everyone's going with Butayev, by the way, over Ugas. Interesting. Yeah, I think Batayev's a good fighter, Hashman. I think he's a good fighter. He can crack a bit as well. Do you know what? That could be the case, Jonathan. That could be the case. With his sixth toe. It could be the case, But I hope Danny Garcia puts on a good show. I hope he doesn't, shell up and not give it his all. I want to see Danny actually test Errol Spence Jr. And that's another thing. I want to see Danny test that chin early on. I want to see him crack Errol on the chin, big left hook, overhand right, whatever it is. I want to see the reaction from Spence. That's what I'm interested about. Errol's not been hit hard in a pro fight for a long time. Danny needs to fucking hit this guy clean early on. Make Errol realise that he's not in with a joke, that this is a real fight. He needs to put doubt in Errol Spence Jr.'s mind, because naturally going into this fight, there must be doubt in Errol Spence's mind. There must be. After what's happened, there has to be. And Danny needs to fucking water that seed of doubt by cracking him early, having a good start to the fight, and who knows what could happen. But Danny certainly needs to show improvements in this fight to win. He really does. Yeah, I like his bodywork, bro. I like his bodywork, unrivaled. Very good body puncher. Exactly, D. That's the intrigue about this fight. I mean, if Errol Spence Jr. is half cooked and he's not the guy he was, Danny Garcia is going to find him out. He will. Danny Garcia is not a bad fighter. He really isn't. I know a lot of people don't like him, but he's a tough kid with decent power, decent timing. Eventually, he'll find you out if you're shot. If your chin isn't what it was, he'll find you out. And that's why I like this fight. We at the end of this weekend, we'll know exactly where Errol Spence Jr. is. That's what we can say. And that's a good thing. Johnny's not having Canelo versus Smith. There's a lot of Canelo detractors in the chat. I'm not the biggest Canelo fan, to be honest. You guys know that. Yeah, listen, you can get to Ugas Hashman. You can get to him. You're right. He was dropped by Delorme. And Ramos had some moments. But still, I would favour Ugas to box round him and beat him on a close points verdict. It's a good fight, though. It's a good fight. I like the fight a lot. Well, there's a chance he won't duck because obviously Acole's fell through. And they're trying to get in opponents. That's a good shout, Jonathan, for Teofimo's first fight at 140. Maurice Hooker. Tall, rangy guy, decent power. Former world champion, awkward, gangly. That'd be a good fight for Teo because Hooker's a big 140 pounder. So that'll be a good test for him. I totally agree. Apparently, though, it looks like Teo's going to fight George Kambosos in Australia. His mandatory defense for the IBF. See, I like that as well. If Teofimo fights George Kambosos, why not do it in Australia? Why not? It looks good on the resume that you travelled. You know, why not, man? It broadens your fan base. I like what they're doing with Teofimo right now. I really do. He's moving in the right direction. But yeah, why not fight in Australia? To be fair, Johnny, he's actually a pretty decent fighter. He's a fun fighter to watch as well. He can fucking crack. He comes to scrap. Batayev, he's decent. He's decent. Padgett, on the other hand, Murray lost to Sturm and got a gift draw to make up for Macklin's split decision loss. Yeah, to me, Padgett, I think I said this in the stream earlier. With the Sturm fight, I felt it was a very close fight. I had no complaints with the draw, to be honest. But yeah, it's what it is, isn't it? It is what it is. Hang on, is that another one unrivaled? Jesus Christ. Brought to you by Joe Choice's Jeff. He's sharing his winnings, man. Big up to Unrivaled. Christ almighty. I've totally lost where I was in the chat, by the way. Fuck's sake. Jake Paul is legit. He'd beat the guy Dubois fought before Joyce. Yeah, Joe, listen, man. Jake Paul can fight a little bit. He can fight a little bit. He can punch a bit as well. He's a strong kid. I think he wrestled maybe when he was younger. And you can tell he's like a natural athlete, Jake Paul. I can't hate on him, man. Apparently the guy's been training with boxers for like 2 years now. He's been taking it seriously. Listen, I know it's a freak show, and I don't watch it personally, but at least he takes it seriously. Probably trains harder than some of these so-called pros, believe it or not, as well, which is a shame. Yeah, I mean, I can't argue with that, Big Dan. Can't argue. But I would, yeah, I don't know. Actually, I'd be excited to see it again. I'd be excited to see it again. I can't lie. To see if Lomachenko can pick up where he left off towards the end of that fight, or whether Teofimo's gonna, you know, put him back in his place in the early rounds. It'd be interesting to see what happens in a rematch. I'd watch it again. I'd watch it again, but not next though. I want to see Lomachenko come back and fight somebody first, just to build a bit of anticipation for it, I guess. Shit in hell. Asad he says, you can't deny the dog in Errol, but after the accident, you don't lose that dog if you got it. It's true. It's true. Philo Bedo, he says, Teofimo will be a flash in the pan. He has no fans, only Lomachenko haters. That is true. He's got a small fan base. He did have fans, I would say. I saw a few of them online, even before the Lomachenko fight, like when he was fighting Richard Comey. But he does have a small fan base, that has to be said. At 135, if he fights the other guys like, Devin Haney and Ryan Garcia, Luke Campbell, all these guys, I think he beats all of those guys, to be honest. I really do. But at 140, that size advantage goes. It'd be interesting to see what how he competes at 140. Guys like Josh Taylor, Jose Ramirez, Jose Zepeda, these are not small guys. They're biggish guys for 140. Can Teofimo compete with these guys? Could Teofimo beat Jose Zepeda, for example? Well, maybe he could, but it'd be a hard fight. It'd be a very good fight, actually, Teofimo versus Jose Zepeda. That'd be a great fight at 140. I'd love to see it, man. Love to see it. Yeah, he's been a bad boy, and Errol Spence Jr. has chaos outside the ring, DUI charge, recovery, child out of wedlock, and the rest. But he can still go on to beat Danny. Everybody in Philly going to ride for Danny regardless, which is the difference. True. Yeah, I'm the same, MB. One thing about Danny Garcia, he's got a great chin. He's got really good durability. He's a tough kid, Danny Garcia. He's a tough kid. The only way he gets stopped is to the body. That's the only way. Errol Spence can't knock this guy out of the head. I'll be shocked if that happens. I'll be shocked. Honestly. Batayev is a bum. Johnny's winding people up in here. Oh, shit, man. Callum Smith is a typical UK bum with inferior genetics. He's a lanky cunt, man. He's a strong kid, man. He's decent. He's decent, Callum Smith, but I don't expect him to pull it together against Canelo. I really don't. I think he's okay, D. Kambosos, listen, he's not going to beat fucking Teofimo, but he's not going to beat any world champion for that matter, but he's okay. He's okay. He's pretty crafty. He's pretty awkward. And he certainly beat Lee Selby. I saw a lot of people online who said Lee Selby won that fight. I couldn't understand what they was watching. I thought Kambosos clearly won that fight. Honestly. But yeah, he's okay, man. He's decent. I think he's decent. The disappearing man, Tony Bellew's in the chat. Big up to Tony Bellew. What, Philo and Stu got beef, man? That's unfortunate, man. It's unfortunate. Nah, see, no, I'd see again, Duck. I really don't think he did. I felt Cambosos clearly fucking beat Selby, like clearly beat him. It wasn't close, in my opinion. I thought he clearly won that fight, but yeah, he's got no chance against Tiafimo. I agree. I agree there. I agree there. Totally agree. Oh yeah, nah, Conor Benn. Listen, Conor Benn looked great the other night, but Virgil Ortiz, leave that guy alone. Virgil would kill Conor Benn. He would kill Conor Benn. See, Conor Benn really should be fighting Chris Congo, the other UK prospect, Chris Congo. That'd be a good fight. That's the sort of fight I want to see Conor in. Duck, he says, you guesses a knockout waiting to happen. I certainly believe he can be drowned late in a fight. I'm not really convinced about his stamina. He can be hurt to the head as well. I think he is going to get knocked out when he steps up to the elite level at welterweight. But I'm not convinced Batayev is the guy to do that. Not yet, anyway. Not quite yet. JR Smile, not really, mate. Not really. I'll be honest, mate. I'll be honest. He's not fighting Boashuk anymore, the Ukrainian fella. It's not happening anymore. Spence fighting all the top PBC welterweights is good for boxing. Yeah, listen, I think Errol Spence Jr. has fought some solid competition, man. Sean Porter, you can't argue with that. Kell Brook was a champion when he beat him. Yeah, the Mikey fight sucked, but it is what it is. You know, Errol Spence has fought a couple of good guys. Danny Garcia is solid. But after this fight, what's left? It's got to be Terence Crawford and Errol Spence, right? That needs to happen next. I'm tired of waiting for it. I'm tired of the talk. I'm tired of the back and forth. I'm tired of A side, B side, and all that nonsense. We want to see that fight next. Fuck Keith Thurman. Keith Thurman is in the Himalayas playing a flute somewhere. That guy's fat as a pig. Doesn't deserve a fight against Errol Spence or Terence Crawford. It's got to be Spence versus. It's got to be Spence Crawford next after Danny Garcia, providing Spence wins, of course. That's what it's got to be. Now I've not seen it. I've still not seen it. Danulo. Not seen it, man. Is it on his channel, Danulo? Listen, man, but Turbiev right now is in no man's land. He's in no man's land. There's no news of a fight. He was supposed to fight towards the end of the year, but it's not happened, has it? It's not happened. So I'm not sure. Matthew Martinez, blue collar. What do you think about the situation with 69 and Tank? What's wrong with Tank? I'm not sure what you're talking about, Matthew. You have to enlighten me on that one. You have to enlighten me. I wonder why Errol Spence spiraled out of control. I think it's one of those things like too much too soon almost. You know, from like a modest upbringing, you know, his family was like just like middle class, well off, but you know, just a normal kid growing up in the suburbs, and to get that kind of fame, that money, I guess it's a trip, right? I mean, I'm working class, and if I had that sort of money at my age now, even now, I think I'd go fucking nuts. Honestly, I'll probably do some stupid things as well. So I think it's just one of those things. Just one of those things. Too much too soon, I guess. But hopefully the car crash has been a lesson to him, and he learns from it. That's the main thing. If he does, the guy's going to go on to have a great career, providing he's not affected. Because I think Errol Spence Jr. is an excellent fighter. Technically very good. Wonderful jab. He's got great lead hand control. Does the basics extremely well. Good power, good body puncher. Errol Spence is a really good technical fighter. He really is. Really good fighter to watch. But hopefully he's okay, and he puts on a good performance against Danny. Yeah, that's what I'm saying, Ethadar. I think it's just because of fame and money. One of those, it's a trap, right? A lot of people can't handle it. The fame, the notoriety, the money, the women, the parties. A lot of people can't handle it. That must have been nice, Jonathan, especially in this current time in which we live in. You know how people are. But that must have been amazing. I forgot the last time I went to a bar to watch a sporting event. Fuck me, it's been so long with what's going on because of this so-called pandemic. Jonathan, he's saying Philly doesn't claim Danny like that. Danny's okay, man. Listen, Danny's okay. He's a bit cringy, Danny Garcia, and his dad's a bit of an ass, but Danny's okay, man. He's okay. Yeah, I agree, buddy. It has to be Crawford versus Spence next. Has to be. Damn, Hashman, you had that a draw? See, I can't see it, bro. I can't see it. I felt Camboso's clearly won, man. Like, clearly. And also, there's a couple of rounds where, there's one round where Camboso's hurt Lee Selby, and the round ended a minute early. Like, it looked like they desperately wanted Lee Selby to win that fight. They pulled out all the stops to have him win that fight. Danilo P, he's got best booting over Ugas as well. See, I'm not sure about that either, to be honest. I think I would lean towards Ugas. They're both really good fights, though. Besputin, Batayev, they're really good fights, man. They're really good fights. Simple question: how far can Joyce go, in your opinion? I have him at number 11 in my personal top 20 heavyweights. As far as who beats who and not achievements, reckon he gives any top 10 fighter a solid test. Beats Wilder for me. So sorry, Joe Joyce. If we're looking at the top 10, well, who are we talking about? I mean, I think he could beat someone like Andy Ruiz, for example. I really do. His work rate's better. He's stronger. He's bigger. Does Andy Ruiz have the power to hurt Joe Joyce? I don't think so, personally. I really don't. I think he would beat Andy Ruiz. I think he would beat Pulev. I think he'd beat Luis Ortiz. I think he could beat Joseph Parker. He could beat Deontay Wilder. I think he loses to Tyson Fury, loses to Joshua. But he could do damage in that top 10. He does not lose to every top 10 fighter in the division, put it that way. I'd be convinced over the Ortiz fight that Joyce would win. I'd be convinced that he beats Andy Ruiz, Pulev. I think he'd beat Dillian White, to be honest. I really do. And Povetkin. I think he would drown Povetkin. I think Povetkin's too old at this stage. I think he would gas Povetkin out. Yeah, I think he could beat a lot of guys in the top 10. Oh, it's got to be Sam Eggington, Mr. Relax. It has to be Sam Eggington in that fight. Sam's too fresh. Too fresh. Not that he's any better, but Ashley Theophane is like 40 years old at this point. Do you know what, Assad? My original pick was the upset for Sergey Kuzmin. But as it gets closer, I think I'll redo my video because I've done a prediction video when that fight was supposed to be on the White Povetkin card. But yeah, my original pick, believe it or not, was Kuzmin by the upset. But I think I'm going to change my mind. I'll think in the next couple of days. But I think I'll change my mind. Okay, it's from yesterday, Danulo P. I'll watch it. I'll give it a watch, Danulo. I'll try and find it on YouTube. I'll try and find it now, actually, while I'm here. Let's have a look. So it's from yesterday, yeah? Okay. I think I found it. I think. I'll have to find it in a bit. I'll look a bit later. Can't find it. Damn, Assad, he's got 100 on Kuzmin. I think it's worth a bet, Assad, because, listen, we've seen in the past that Martin Bakole can be drowned late in a fight, sorry. Kuzmin's got a really good shin. He's very tough, he's very durable, and he hits pretty hard. I think Bakole's more naturally talented, but at the same time, I think Kuzmin's the more naturally tougher guy. I think we saw that in the Hunter fights. Kuzmin versus Hunter, Kuzmin stuck in there, tried his best, didn't stop trying, but Bakole was looking for a way out, right? So if Kuzmin drags him to deep waters, starts landing a few hard shots, I could see Kuzmin winning late on. But I think Bakole's more naturally talented, better work rate, better hand speed, better punch variation, and more naturally talented, like I said. So I see it as 50-50 right now, to be honest. It's a good fight. It's a good fight. But I wouldn't be surprised if Kuzmin wins. But I tell you what, I might bet on Kuzmin, you know. I might actually put a little bet on Kuzmin. Oh, damn, really? Will Stokes, one of my mates from the boxing gym, was one of Danny Garcia's sparring partners in the past. Interesting. Interesting, man. Okay, it's on U617, his channel. Brilliant. I'll watch that later, man. I'll watch that later. Fuck's sake, Pedo Bacole is going to stop him. I think it's worth it, Assad. I think it's worth it. He's got a chance. He's got a chance. I've never heard of him. I'll have a look at him. I'll have a look at him, Hashman. Yeah, Brian Ceballo's a pretty good fighter, JR Smile. I saw him fight that Ayubov guy, that Eastern European guy, and he looked pretty good that night, to be fair. Not the biggest puncher, from what I remember, though. Not the biggest hitter, but he can certainly box. Oh, you mean Felix Verdejo, Hashman? Okay. See, I didn't even know his nickname, bro. Didn't even know his nickname. But yeah, Felix Verdejo's okay. He's okay. Never really lived up to the hype, though. I don't think he will personally. I think it's too late now. But we'll see what happens with him. We'll see what happens. It's beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. I know Steve Claggett. Yeah, I've heard of Steve Claggett. Didn't he fight the Irish guy? What's his name? Danny O'Connor, maybe? I think he fought Danny O'Connor. Let's have a. I'm gonna box check that quickly. Because if I fucking remembered that fight, then there's something wrong with me. Sure, he fought Danny O'Connor. Steve Claggett. Let's have a look. Box rec. There we go. Yeah, he fought Danny O'Connor. There we go. My memory's fucking great. That's awesome. He's still only 27. Felix Verdejo. Are you serious? I thought he's like 30. Yeah, I think it's a good fight, Johnny. I think that's a good fight, mate. I think it's a good fight. When is that fight, by the way? Nakatani versus the 12th or something. Hang on. It's a good fight. When the fuck did that get made? When did that get made? That's a really good fight, you know. That's going to be a good test for Felix Verdejo. Nakatani's a big lightweight. He's a big, tall lightweight. Throws good straight punches. He can get aggressive. He's going to test him. He's going to test Verdejo. That's a good fight. I like that a lot, actually. See, that's a good, solid fight, man. That's a good, solid fight. We don't ask for much, man. We just want some good, solid, competitive fights. Yeah, man, I like that a lot. I like that a lot, man. Glad you guys let me know about that one, actually. I like that fight. Yeah, Claggett beat O'Connor. There we go. I thought I was right. Yeah. Yeah, Felix is looking better under Salas. Yeah, I was impressed with his last fight, Hashman, in the bubble, where he knocked that guy out in very, very quick fashion. He looked good that night. See, that would be a good fight, Duck. I'd like to see Verdejo fight Fortuna. That'd be a good fight. But I need to see Verdejo beat someone like Nakatani. If he beats Nakatani, then I can say at least Verdejo is now at least a contender again. Do you know what I mean? But until then, I'm not going to put any faith in him at all. See, I never knew that about Danny O'Connor, Levi. See, that's great. It's always good having people who know their stuff in here, man. So Claggett schooled for recovering drug addict Danny O'Connor. Decent fight in Danny's hometown. O'Connor was a top amateur, but heroin took hold of and his career went down in the shambles. I never knew that. Never knew that at all about Danny O'Connor. It's a trip, man. That is a trip. I didn't mean that as a pun either, by the way. Probably not the ideal thing to say after reading that out, is it? But there we go. I never knew that. That's mad. That is kind of crazy, isn't it? Yeah, definitely a sad story. Duck, he's got Nakatani to stop Felix Verdejo. It's a good fight, man. Felix has got to get past that range, man. But I'm not sure that Nakatani's got the power to really hurt him or stop him. I don't know, man. It's a good fight. That's a good one. That's a good fight. Hashman's got Felix by knockout. Duck's got a straight right hand to the Puerto Rican glass, and it's going to shatter. Levi's saying Salas might be the best trainer in boxing in my opinion. Sorry. Yeah, Salas is a good trainer, no doubt. I'll tell you what, Joe Joyce under Ismail Salas, certainly the best version of Joe Joyce in the pros. And I'll tell you what, I quite like Joe Joyce's assistant trainer as well, Steve Broughton. I felt he manned the ship exceptionally well while Salas was out. But yeah, Salas is good. Salas is good, man. Yo, Hashman, yeah. So Danny O'Connor got knocked out badly by Gabriel Bracero, I want to say. I think it's Gabriel Bracero. Let's look on this box rec again, Danny O'Connor. I remember like random ass fights, like some bum fights that I should not remember. But I'll forget some obvious fucking trivia like that everybody knows. I'm a fucking weirdo. Yeah, he got knocked out by Gabriel Bracero in 2015. That was like knockout of the year that year, or one of the best knockouts of the year. That was savage. That was savage, man. Yo, Jonathan, I would love to see that fight, but I have to say, I make Joe Smith Jr. a big favourite in that one. I think Yarde is explosive and he can punch, so he's always got a chance. But Joe Smith's work rate, his aggression, power in both hands, I think he would run over Anthony Yarde, to be honest. I'll tell you what, I said this about Joe Smith the other day. I think Joe Smith's really improved as a fighter. He used to be like a limited slugger, but he's a little bit more than that these days. If you watch his last fight with Elidia Alvarez, I liked how he was varying the power of his shots. So he would have Alvarez against the ropes, but he wasn't going all out with every single shot. He was like tap, 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 bang to the body, or tap to the head, bang to the head. He was really mixing up the power really well in that fight, using his jab a lot more active. I think Joe Smith Jr.'s improved a lot. His feet look quicker now. he's definitely he's an improving fighter, Joe Smith Jr. And he's a handful for anybody in that division. In my opinion, right now he's a handful for anybody. Don't write off Joe Smith Jr. But that'd be a very good fight, bro. That'd be a very good fight. I'd love to see it, man. Anyway, lads, we're going to wrap this one up. We've been going for an hour and 25. I think that's long enough. I just wanted to get one of these done this week because I hadn't live streamed in a while. But yeah, man, hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Smash the like and all that stuff. Always helps us out. But yeah, boys, peace.